Welcome back to eSIM Studio. So, I woke up today expecting to pre-order my OnePlus 15, and what do you know? It's not available. So, we're going to get into the review of everybody else's OnePlus 15, at least the YouTubers that have a OnePlus 15. Well, the OnePlus 15 availability has been delayed in the United States due to the government shutdown. Now, for each and every device that's sold in the United States, each and every electronic device that emits and or receives frequencies has to get certified by the FCC. This OnePlus 15 could not get certified by the FCC because the government was shut down for what was it? I think just over a month. A lot of these companies don't like to do FCC certification right up until launch date because when devices do get reviewed by the FCC and eventually get approved, well, there's a database and all that information is for public consumption. So that's why a lot of these companies wait right up until its release date, maybe a week or two before, and then they get certified, and then they launch it. Well, just bad time, wrong place, however you want to put it. Who knew the government was going to be shut down for so long? Could not get certified by the FCC. I'm sure there's a number of electronics, not just OnePlus, that needs to get certification by the FCC to be launched in the US. When will this be available? I have no idea. My guess is probably within a few weeks, couple weeks. So what are we at? November 13th. Probably here, I would say by the end of the month. With this OnePlus 15, look, you know you're going to get extreme performance with OnePlus, right? It has the brand new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 processor. It actually has 3 chips in there. One is the processor, which we'll get to here in a minute. It's got a surprise that you're going to want to be mindful of. And then you got a chip for Wi-Fi performance, a dedicated chip for Wi-Fi. You have a dedicated chip for the screen responsiveness. So this is a gaming beast, right? It has LPDDR5X Ultra RAM, which is the latest and greatest version of LPDDR5 RAM, 5X RAM. And then that's on the 12 gig, 256 gig model. You get the Ultra RAM. On the 16 gig of RAM, 12 gigs of storage, they bump it up to LPDDRX Ultra Plus RAM, which is the latest version of your DDRX5 RAM. Now you're also getting UFS storage 4.1. All those combined add for a device that absolutely flies through the operating system, through anything you can throw at it, right? It's been described by a lot of YouTubers as the fastest, zippiest, most fluid UI they've ever used. And on top of that, they include a 7,300 milliampere hour battery, a silicon carbon battery at that basically lasts everybody 2 days from all the reviews I've watched this morning. So you're going to get fantastic battery life. It's going to last you all day and more, right? It's going to last you basically all day plus some, depending on how you use it. Charges very fast. 80 watts here in the US, 100 watts outside the US. Chargers included in the box. You get fast wireless charging. So this charges at 50 watts wirelessly. Charges faster wirelessly than other devices charge wired. Pretty cool. You get a premium build as well. Apparently this has a ceramic finish where it's on a 9 on a scale of 10, 10 being the hardest. I think like diamond is at 10. So this thing, you can get scratched up and essentially you can just wipe the scratch away because it's not the device that's scratching, it's the material left over from the other object that made contact with your phone, if you get what I'm saying. Now, so it's going to be tough as nails. This displays 160 hertz refresh rate up to 165 hertz. Now, let's get one thing clear. 165 hertz refresh rate is only enabled within a handful of games. I believe it's like a list of 4 or 5 games right now that they're going to add to at a later point. But if you want that 165 hertz refresh rate, it's only while playing a certain number of games. When you're just normally cruising in your operating system, when you're on the Notebook LM app, when you're in Google Keep, when you're in the settings app, it's going to top out at 120. 165 is reserved for a handful of games. Now, it has a ridiculous 3200 hertz touch sampling rate. Again, enabled while playing games. So if you're a gamer, this is going to be an absolute beast. Here's the downsides. The cameras take a downgrade. You're getting a downgrade in camera sensors, and the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 CPU overheats. Now, dun dun dun. I know when I say overheats, you're like, well, does it really overheat? What do you mean overheats? Overheats, I mean by getting hot. Now, I've seen some people say it just gets extremely hot during gameplay. I've seen some other people say it gets extremely hot and actually shut down. It doesn't let you use any other apps. I've seen one person say they were playing a game, it got hot, the game force closed. They tried to open up the camera app and it would not let them open the camera app. So this thing is going to get hot, right? And I've seen a couple reports in the last week stating such, that the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 runs hot, but I didn't know it gets this hot. So there's a YouTube video out there that actually has a temperature gun. They were playing a game, revving it up to full blast, and it got up to 127 degrees Fahrenheit. 127. I did a extreme heat test on my Google Pixel 7 Pro a couple years ago out in the middle of August in South Texas. It was 104 degrees outside. I got that up to 113 degrees Fahrenheit before it shut down, and it was hot to the touch to where I couldn't even hold it. Like, I literally had to put it down because it was burning my hands. That was at 113 degrees Fahrenheit. They got this OnePlus 15 up to 127 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, it didn't shut off. The Pixel 7 Pro literally turned off. Take that for what you will. It does have a considerably larger vapor chamber than last year, probably one of the biggest in any phones, and you know that can only do so much. Now, the Red Magic 11 has the liquid. That makes me wonder, did the Red Magic, did they get this CPU in whatever 6-8 months ago, start doing it? Did liquid cooling, or did they absolutely have to implement liquid cooling for their Red Magic 11? What is it, 11 Pro? Because it gets so hot, you absolutely have to have a liquid cooled device to keep it running cool and playing through these games. Probably, because vapor chambers looks like it's not cutting it anymore for these super duper powerful CPUs, and that's one of the things that. Look, having the latest and greatest CPU is great. Having all this power is great. And we all know they're in like an arms race with Apple with the MediaTek Dimensity 9500. The 9500 MediaTek Dimensity CPU can keep up neck and neck with this Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 and keep cooler temperatures. And it still beats Apple's CPU out of the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, but it doesn't get as hot as the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. So I know there's an Oppo phone, a similar phone to the OnePlus 15 like this that they sell overseas that actually has the MediaTek. I believe it's the Oppo Find X9 Pro that has the Dimensity MediaTek 9500 CPU in there. That may be the one to get over this if you're concerned about heat. Now, I don't play games, so I'm not really worried about the heat. I think it only gets really super hot when you're playing super graphic intensive games. So keep that in mind. I did want to hit that. And again, this phone, and it may be software fixable, right? When I first got this S25 Ultra, I had 3 of them. All 3 of them got super hot. Well, guess what? One UI 8 fixed it. This thing has not gotten hot in months. It's almost a perfect, well, cameras could be better, but this is a damn near close to a perfect phone. If the cameras would be better, it would be a perfect phone, but you get the point. Now, let's roll into the OnePlus 15 cameras, because I have a feeling They could scale down and or throttle this CPU under heavy load with further software updates. And that could kind of like this, right? Kind of can help not be so aggressive, right? Not rev so many RPMs, so to speak, and generate that heat. And could scale it down a bit, but I don't game. Everybody uses their phone different, so that's not really a concern of mine. If you do a lot of gaming, it might be a concern for you. Let's get into the cameras though. So for all of the technical achievements, the OnePlus 15 comes with several significant downgrades from its predecessor. These regressions were so notable that they led Android Authority, who I included in this notebook LM source, to suggest that for many users, the best course of action, if you like taking photographs, if you like taking videos, is to not get this one out at all. In fact, I've heard some people say the OnePlus 13 has better photo and or video quality than the new OnePlus 15, and that's like the OnePlus 12. I thought the OnePlus 12 took better photos and videos than the OnePlus 13. I had both of them. In fact, I was shocked at the OnePlus 12. It took better photos than the S24 Ultra. It was my second in line behind my Pixel. I believe the Pixel at that time was the Pixel 7 Pro, or was it 8 Pro? I can't remember, but whatever the equivalent was, I put the OnePlus 12 right under the Pixel. Back a couple years ago. I have a feeling this OnePlus 15 is going to be sort of like the OnePlus 12, where the OnePlus 12 was really good. OnePlus 13 seemed like it took a step back. Now we move to the OnePlus 15. Seems like the OnePlus 15 is taking a step back. So I would argue the OnePlus 12 takes better photos than the OnePlus 13 or OnePlus 15. Just being honest. And if you got a OnePlus 12, please comment down below on how you like the cameras or if you've had one. But let's get into it. So the OnePlus 15 has a 50 megapixel trio of cameras on the back. So the main camera features this has a smaller sensor, the main shooter, than the OnePlus 13. So the OnePlus 15 features a smaller Sony IMX906 sensor and a slower, narrower f1.8 aperture, which negatively impacts low light performance. Telephoto lens, described by Android Authority as significantly worse, with a much smaller sensor, a JN5 sensor, and a narrower aperture when compared to the OnePlus 13. Now, the ultra-wide camera, this camera also utilizes a smaller sensor than the previous model. To make things worse, they've discontinued their partnership with Hasselblad. So Android Authority notes the old partner's tuning has been replaced by an in-house Detail Max engine that is just too flat, leaving photos looking boring and lifeless. So the color is just not as bold. There's more noise in these photos, and it seems like on every review I watch, it's pretty unanimous. Camera-wise, video-wise, they took a step back. So if you're a person that doesn't care, or I shouldn't say doesn't care, but you might care, you just don't take as many photos, right? You don't live and die with photos and or videos. Who cares? Get the phone, right? Or if you have a Pixel like I do, who cares? Get the phone. I'm not going to take pictures with the OnePlus 15. I'm going to take pictures with the Pixel. Or if I need to take a video, who cares? I have a S25 Ultra. I'll just take a video with the S25 Ultra. Now, I know not everybody, has 3, 4, 5 phones, but how can I forget about this guy? Now, this isn't much to brag about. Y'all saw my video that I did a couple days ago that I shot this in my car. Holy crap, that video sucked. I don't know what the hell's going on, but anyways, if you have multiple phones, that may not be a thing to you, right? Photos and videos. Or if you're not a gamer, who cares? Like me. I don't game. What do I care? I just hope it doesn't get hot during video editing, because when I use CapCut, when I use Filmora, when I use some of these other video editing tools, Sometimes it can get a little warm, not hot, but a little warm. So we'll have to see. I'm sure it will, because that's when it uses a lot of processing power. But we shall see. The display resolution in the OnePlus 13 was a 2K 1440p display. The new OnePlus 15 downgrade slightly to a 1.5 1220 excuse me 1272p resolution. I can't tell, honestly. Maybe you can. I can't tell. This doesn't. I don't really care in this department. No alert slider. We've known this. They've already launched phones without alert sliders. So just it does have a action button like the iPhone does. It does have an action button right there, similar to that, where you can do triple taps it opens something, double taps it opens something, double press long hold does something, just a single long hold does something. So it's highly programmable. It's just not a physical slider. So you may have to get used to that. As I mentioned, a powerful chip that overheats. We just discussed that. Final verdict: who should buy the OnePlus 15? Well, mobile gamers, assuming you can deal with the heat. Now, it does not have magnets inside. I know you can buy these Qi 2 magnets and or what are they? Those fans that slap on the back of a Pixel on our iPhone that keeps the air. I think OnePlus did sell a fan case or a fan wireless charger, something like that. Mobile gaming, I would say yes, but it gets so hot during gaming. I don't really know where this is going to go. Is it going to stay this way? Are they going to push a few updates out that kind of retune the CPU so where it doesn't get so hot? If you're a gamer, to be completely honest with you, you need to go buy a Red Magic 11 Pro. Liquid cooled. I was like, damn, did the Red Magic 11 overheat? Before I started this video, I watched a couple of YouTube videos on the Red Magic 11 that has the same CPU, the Snapdragon 80 Elite Gen 5. No overheating whatsoever. But again, that uses a true liquid cooled implemented on top of the CPU, which keeps the heat down, right? The OnePlus 15 has a traditional vapor chamber. The Red Magic 11 Pro uses a liquid cooled technology. It's freaking awesome. So that's probably the device you're going to want to get. And I think it's the same price, maybe even a little cheaper than this OnePlus 15, right? Power users who demand the fastest speeds and battery that can last up to 2 days, that's a big plus, right? Anyone who values extreme durability, this new ceramic build that they have looks freaking awesome. Now, I'm not going to say it's going to survive drop. I'm not going to say it's not going to crack the screen. I think this has Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the front, but it shouldn't. You should be able, if you want to use a very thin case, you should be able to get away with that. If you want to use your phone naked and don't use a case at all, I think this would be probably one of the few phones that you could get. Now, who should skip this? Mobile photographers, as I mentioned. If you have a Pixel, if you have an iPhone, if you have a Samsung, and you want to get this as a gaming phone, I think that would be okay. If you just don't take a lot of pictures, I think you'll be okay. But just be mindful that the photography is not great. Can it be improved over time? Yes, we know it can. Nothing has improved their cameras over time with software updates. Google's done the same. Samsung's done the same. So it can be improved upon. Just don't expect it to be a powerhouse and or up to Pixel level or shit, even Samsung level. And that's really not saying much for when you get a look. That's one thing Samsung needs to improve upon big time with the S26. I'm tired of spending $1,500 on a phone, and it comes in at like number 26 on the list of best camera phones to buy, huh? Like, it's clearly it's crutch, right? If it was up there with Pixel being in the top 5 in the world when it's launched, it'd be a no-brainer, right? But this one's, I don't even think that the OnePlus 15 is reaching the top 50 when it gets but the DxMO or Mark listing, whatever. Media consumers who basically need and or want a 2K screen for watching videos. It is what it is. I've already mentioned, I can't tell the difference. Maybe you can, but just remember, it's got a 1.5 now. Longtime OnePlus fans who love the iconic alert slider, that is gone, right? dedicated, value conscious buyers can purchase it soon. The discounted OnePlus 13. So here, we'll get out of here on this. This brings up a good point. Should you get this or a OnePlus 13? Right? I think if you want a cutting edge and you want the way it looks, you think it's cool, I think you'd be good with this. But I think if you have a OnePlus 13 or you want to jump in the OnePlus world, let's say you've always had Samsung, but you want to give OnePlus a try, you might look into the OnePlus 13 because it could be the phone of the year as far as Android's concerned. It's a phenomenal device. The cameras are better than this OnePlus 15. Battery life, I got the most screen on time in history with the OnePlus 13. I think it was close to 12 hours of screen on time. It's a battery beast. It's a battery king. It'll last you 2 days. Takes better videos, better pictures, and it's going to be discounted now. And they have a beautiful blue color, ocean blue. One thing I didn't mention about the OnePlus 15, it has an IP69K certification, which means they can just blast it with super hot water at like 80 psi or 120 psi for 30 minutes and it still works. Now the OnePlus 13 is IP69. The new OnePlus 15 is IP69K. Now OnePlus 13, go watch videos. You can stick them in your dishwasher, run the dishwasher a full cycle, and it comes out fine. You can put your OnePlus 13 in the laundry, in the washer with some clothes. I've seen videos on that. Comes out just fine. So I think the OnePlus 13 is crazy fast. The Snapdragon in there is the Snapdragon 8 Elite. After a few software updates, mine never got hot, but I'm just saying it's fully optimized, and now it's been out for since January, so it's been out for 10 11 months. It's had 10 or 11 updates. It is optimized to perfection. So I think if you've never had a OnePlus and you want to dive into one of these, I think the OnePlus 13 might be the best bet for the dollar, because this OnePlus 15 is launching at $899, but that's for the 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage. I think the 16 gig of RAM, 512 gigs of storage is going to start at $999, by basically $1,000. But check this out. You can get a OnePlus 13, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage for probably about $700. Let's look real quick. All right, so look what I pulled up. OnePlus 13, you can get one of these, $49. Don't mind this one. That's overpriced in my opinion. Look at this. $600. $649. And this is for the 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage. $600. 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of storage, and you have the beautiful white color. Now, and here's the beautiful blue color that's going for $719. I'm sure you can find one, a blue one. The black is cool. I love the blue color. The white is very nice. Now, one thing with the OnePlus 13 compared to the OnePlus 15 I did not get into. The OnePlus 15 has a complete flat panel on the top, on front, and the back of the OnePlus 15. The OnePlus 13 has a quad nano curved display. It's 2K, but it's nano curved all the way on all four sides. So not just the sides, but also the top. Now, it's not as drastic as dating back to a few years ago where it's a huge curve. It's basically a flat display in the OnePlus 13. It's just right when you get to the edge, it's just slightly curved right when you get to the edge. So it's not a drastic curve. It's just very slightly on the sides and barely on the tops. So it is what it is. But at this point, if you want to dive into it, I think the OnePlus 13 is a no-brainer, in my opinion. And for those of y'all that are going to skip this upgrade, I think that's a great option as well. I think you could say, you know what? I think I'm going to chill for a little bit. Now, there's no word on the 15R because the 15R is going to use the updated body style. It's just going to have the Snapdragon 8 Elite. So with the OnePlus 13R, basically has the same body as the OnePlus 15. The cameras on the back are round. But typically with the R series, the cheaper version, it'll use last year's flagship CPU. That may be the one to get this year, honestly, the 15R, because that CPU's been optimized by the OnePlus developers for a whole year now, and they know exactly how to tune it, and it'll have the OnePlus 15 body style. Now, you'll get some other down. I'm sure the cameras are really going to suck on the OnePlus 15R because typically the cameras take a hit on the R series. But it is what it is. Again, if you're not a big picture taker, that can be an option. And the OnePlus 13 does take decent photos. I just think the best OnePlus, in my opinion, that took in recent memory is the OnePlus 12, if you're big into photos. But you can find those at a steal price at this point, probably around $400 or $500. But that'll do it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do appreciate the time. And I'm going to test this Pixel. I'm actually recording on it. I'm going to test this Pixel. A commenter put up a good question yesterday. With the new Pixel update, with the November feature drop, did the GPU drivers get updated? Good question. I have no clue, but I'm going to benchmark it, record it, and upload it. So stay tuned, and we'll see if the Pixel got a GPU driver update, because that's big time lagging in performance. So it's definitely not overheating because that CPU is barely keeping up. So appreciate the time. I'll see you on the next one.